and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young.
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young.
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum.
Young TV.
Okay?
Bookmark it.
Trust me. I'm saying I'm just trying to help y'all understand. You stay with me? I'm trying to help you understand. I'm going to repeat that. Because I'm not saying this is what happened. If there's a round of kids, it's the trafficker. P. Diddy gets a round of kids. Let's say that round of kids had Justin Bieber in it. There's contracts, okay? There's contracts for codes within that person. So they can take a remote and turn that person off. Britney Spears, when they want to. Lindsay Lohan, when they want to. Amanda Bynes, when they want to, okay? So let's say there's a contract for Justin Bieber. When P. Diddy has a hold of Justin Bieber, he now owns half of those codes. If Usher had the same contract and trafficked Bieber out to P. Diddy, okay, Usher and P. Diddy now have parts of Justin Bieber's contract. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if one goes down, the other side of the code has to go down. If there's a property linked to that person, Kevin Hart, because they had something to do with the trafficking of Bieber, then their property will go down because there's a code to that property. There's a code to everything. Your social security number is like a code. Okay? But depending on the level of MK Ultra, people have auctions for the codes on that person. So they can use a remote to them like a TV and shut them down, turn it up, use somebody else, change it whenever they feel like it. Bookmark it. Trust me. Trust me, bookmark it. Okay? I know it's probably not going to make sense right now, but bookmark it.
MK Ultra is used, but to get MK Ultra to take hold the way it needs to be, it has to involve satanic ritual abuse, extreme trauma, humiliation, just evil on a level you can't imagine. I don't care what you all think about Trump. I'm not sure what I think about Trump, but he is telling you the truth on a lot of things. You guys just don't understand what he's saying. When he's saying they're eating the cats and dogs, he's preparing your hearts and your minds for the fact that satanic ritual abuse is about to come into the light in a big way. Voodoo is about to come into the light in a big way. Cannibalism is about to come into the light in a big way. All of those things linked to MK Ultra. And it all links to trafficking. Once you have MK Ultra in place, and once you've used satanic ritual abuse to link into the MK Ultra and to program the children, so you can use them as sex slaves or Delta assassins or whatever it is you want them to do, then the trafficking and all those things come into play. But you have to have the base and the foundation first.
I've been a party favor at a few parties, and I'm gonna rewind a little bit. After a certain point of being traumatized, after a certain point of realizing that nobody loved me for me and just for what I could do, or whatever the fact that it was, what people thought about me when I was a little kid, I was naive like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So after a certain point, I didn't give a damn who did what. I just wanted to be seen. And I know that a lot of people can say, yeah, there's times where a point in your life where you're just like, I just want somebody to give a damn. I just want somebody to see me, and I just want somebody to love me. Okay? So I was there a lot because I've been abused a lot. And after a certain point, I went really numb, didn't care. A lot of people that were with me called me a traitor because they felt like I just left. I'd be mad at me too, because I stopped giving a shit about anything. I didn't care. It all just didn't care. When I was out, it didn't. A lot, but I'm not healed. Okay, I'm still angry, still really hurt, and we're still not getting anywhere. So I didn't care. Okay, and to be in a room where people promised you the world, at one point you just go numb. So things of me that probably don't make sense, but I was a kid. And all of this situation, everything that we're talking about, everything that I've been talking about, I was under the age of 18. Let's start there. Okay? I was sold a lot in foster care. A lot of stuff happened in my life with the family I was with. Okay? CPS reports go back to 3 months old. I remember 4 years old, and everything took off from there. All right? So never in my life did a lot of the stuff seem wrong until I met this twin of mine. Nothing seemed wrong. I'm telling you the God honest truth to me. And even when I met her, I was just like, it's fine. Seriously, it's fine. This is the way love is. This is the way this is supposed to be. Okay? I'm still trying to find words to what has happened. I'm still trying to find words because every time we do something as far as an affidavit, talk to someone, this takes a lot out of me that I don't think people understand. The nightmares, the flashbacks, the skin crawling, the barely can do one thing without feeling like everything is going to end forever. You want to run. You don't understand the feeling of feeling like I think somebody is still around me and your clothes just don't feel right every day. Okay? So predators get the slap on the wrist, and oh, I love them even when you don't know them. They're my idols even though you've never met them in your life. But the victims live with something every second of every single day, and it never goes away. A lot of people are going to ask me, in some situations, why was I there? How did I get there? I was a kid. And I used to think that if I wasn't yelling and screaming, that wasn't rape. Not true either. There is a lot going on with this case. These freak-off parties, they're not freak-off parties. There's a lot that happens. There's life-size wheels that people attach children to and spin it and decide who's having sex in what way. There are so many things. There's body cakes. There's party favors. And I'm talking like, you know how you put up a little birthday bag? Like when you go to a birthday party, and before you can leave, you can take one of those little birthday bags off the table. And then there's toys and like all this stuff for coming to the party. Yeah. Instead of that, there's children. They call them party favors. Okay. I'm really trying to spit this out, but I'm really having a hard time tonight. I'm really having a hard time tonight. And I do not know why. I'm really having a hard time tonight. Because I've had to stop everything and turn around, and we're doing this again. And the thing is I can put out information, but it's not until you guys get slapped with more information that people are like, okay, that's true. I get it. Don't just take one word and just go with it. But a part of my brain right now is just not doing well. I'm not okay. Because I'm just like, all of this, I can drop it. I'll just put up the affidavit and I'm going to come back on. Because I'm trying to spit it out. And it's not, I don't know why. It's not coming. Because what's irritating me too is journalists and people. If you're monetizing your account and you're messaging me, I'm not giving information out for money. That's not what I'm doing either. The information is priceless.
And we're not going to help you do that.
No,
either.
I don't want to. We're not doing it. So if you're messaging us like, hey, you could come on my platform and do it, but if your platform is monetized, just please don't message us. You're not gonna like me. I'm just telling you right now, you're not gonna like me. I want to spit the information out. I have a lot. We have decades worth of information. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Okay, but I'm trying to, and everybody's like, just do it. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You're not sitting right here. And this, it cuts deeper than probably a financial problem. It cuts deeper than a spiritual problem. It cuts deeper than a location problem. It cuts deeper than a soul problem. Okay, it takes a minute. It takes a minute to get up. It takes a minute to get out the corner. And for those who are like, okay, so testify. Nope, because listen. Nope, because the attorney on Diddy's side is corrupt. You know that, right? Who's going to defend someone that they know damn well is a killer, a rapist, a child slave trader? Who's going to defend someone like that? Would you? After you know what's been done? After you know.
That's a money issue.
That's a money issue, right?
You don't care what happened to the kids. You don't care about your integrity.
That's not. Ah. I'm trying to. I'm trying, but for whatever reason, it's not. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me right now. I can just feel the evil. I can feel the good, but I can just feel a problem just stirring. I'm trying. What is happening right now, I don't know. I really don't. So, I was ready. And then I jumped on here and I'm like, Gav, back. I don't know what's wrong with my I was a party favor.
What does that mean?
I was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set children?
I set children on a
table. Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them.
Yep.
And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties,
mm-hmm.
they put children on the table instead of gift bags.
Mm-hmm.
And then people can do what?
Take you off the table and have sex with you, even though it's against the rules to do certain things like anal sex or full house sex. Sometimes that's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter. That did not matter.
So they come choose you off the table, do whatever they want with you, and then what happens?
Then they put you back on the table.
They put you back on the table for somebody else to come choose you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's called a party favor effect. That's just one of the little things that go on at the freak off parties with children. Were there animals there?
Mm-hmm. Goats.
Did they turn the animals loose on the kids?
Yeah.
And if you got sick and threw up because it was so disgusting, what happened?
You had to eat it.
You had to eat your vomit
Mm-hmm.
if you threw up. That's satanic ritual abuse. Diddy was at this party?
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Washington was at this party?
Yep.
Birdman was at this party?
Yes, he was.
And Young Jock?
Yep.
And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left?
And beanie, socks, and a gold chain.
So you're telling me Denzel Washington was butt naked, he had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of children.
Yep.
Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou.
Yep. So a lot of them do.
I think you also told me that one of those men have a birthmark.
Left thigh.
So one of those men have a birthmark on their left thigh.
Yep.
Did you have sexual interactions with Diddy?
Yep.
Denzel? And I know we don't tell on Denzel. You might not tell on Denzel, but your mama gonna tell on every fucking buddy. I ain't keeping no pedophile secrets. Denzel?
Yep.
Birdman? Did Birdman promise you things?
So much. Like what he promised Lil Wayne at a young age. Because you know we share the system together. Share a birthday together too.
I know a lot of you have seen P. Diddy get guardianship of a lot of young kids. That means he holds their contracts. I know you've heard me talk about Ali's contract and how often it gets auctioned off, and the things that come from that when it's auctioned. So when you're seeing that he was a guardian for these children, he's holding their MK Ultra contracts is what that translates to. Were you the only child at this party?
No. Not at all. There's so many kids at this party.
Were there also so many celebrities?
Well, that whole they leave at a certain time, that's not true. Everybody has to take DNA test, saliva test, blood tests, give up your phone, give up information, any trackers or locations, no weapons, no cameras.
So I'm sorry, but anybody that's running in those circles, whether they claim to have left early or not, is a bunch of bullshit. Because if you left early, but you knew kids were there, and you did know, you don't run in those circles and not know that. If someone is willing to rape a child, they have no integrity at all. So that means they're also liars. That means they probably also murder people. That means they do a lot of shit. Because the lowest bar that you can set for yourself is to not hurt kids. And if you can't hold that bar, you can't hold the bar for anything else. So saying I left early from a party where children are being brutalized and raped and sodomized and used in bestiality and satanic rituals is not a plausible explanation or excuse or a pass. And this is something you're probably going to want to bookmark, but the way these things link together will blow your mind, and there's no coincidences. These things tie together like a ball of spaghetti. Like, I don't even know how to explain that, but everything else. And when you start pulling at one thing, you're going to get a bunch of other things that all link together. Who they deal with, who they associate with, where they traffic, how they traffic, all of this links together. You have traffickers putting out movies. Sound of Freedom.
What Sound of Freedom?
They're putting out movies.
I'm sorry.
About
I don't hear any sound.
While they're trafficking, while they're in bed with traffickers funding the movie. Y'all went to see that and were like, yay, somebody's doing something. No, nobody did anything, but you gave your money to aid trafficking. You guys have got to be careful what you do. Be careful what you do with your money. Be careful who you vote for. Be careful who you idolize, because you don't know how deep these things go.
There's no election. There's no damn election. So don't, and this is not a political thing, but there's no election. because everybody's guilty. Everybody is guilty. Who do you call for all these children?
Start asking the right questions. Who is trafficking these children? Where are they getting these kids from? When Diddy's house was being raided, the neighbor drove by and said, yeah, they bust kids in at 3 in the morning. How are they busing kids in? Where would you go to get a busload of kids? We could do this all day long. We could list celebrities all day long. But until you guys are soul sick and disgusted and get a righteous anger, it's kind of pointless to keep just naming names. We've been naming names for years.
I'll give you some names. You wouldn't even know them though because CPS covered them up. Those names are what's important. This is a lot.
You're going to be seeing more cannibalism come out into the light because that's part of satanic ritual abuse. That's part of what these people do. I've said for years, they're not like us. They don't think like us. They don't act like us. They don't have integrity. They're not like us. They don't have any value for life unless it's their own. And once you wrap your head around that satanic ritual abuse that's going on, then we can get right into the MK Ultra. And to me, that's the worst of the worst.
I don't know what happened. My brain just shut down. I just can't. I'll come back on here when I can. I'll be back tomorrow. Give me till tomorrow. Sharon told her, hold on half the affidavits, just wait a second, and it'll drop one. But that doesn't matter. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter until it matters. People can drop evidence all day. You got shit coming out left and right. It doesn't matter until it matters to somebody that is personal.
Well, it matters. What are you going to do? What changes are you going to make in your life? Are you going to keep idolizing these people? Are you going to keep supporting them with your money? Are you going to go watch their trafficking movie even though the traffickers are funding the movie? And it was about a fictional trafficking situation when you could have just talked to any survivor and they would have given you more information. Like, everybody needs a come to Jesus meeting. Everybody needs a reality check with their life. Things are not what they seem. You're either going to keep going down that road and keep your head in the sand, or you're going to get shaken to your very core and find that righteous indignation deep inside and say, this is enough. These children are on our watch. There are children still being harmed and hurt and brutalized and have animals turned on them sexually and are having their face rubbed in their own vomit if they get sick. They're being beat if they start their period. You don't understand what they're doing. But that's on our watch. That's on my watch and that's on your watch. So it's up to us. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to continue to allow it? Or are we going to start holding people accountable? Are we going to hold people's feet to the fire and say, this is enough, this is not going to happen anymore?
Everybody, when I was younger, they let it happen. When I went into foster care, nobody did anything. Nobody called to check. I was missing for a year from CPS custody. I ran away and made a choice myself when I was auctioned to Russia. I was like, that's enough. They're gonna kill me. I tried to tell my social worker, it's still in paperwork. I called the supervisor. We called the ombudsman. They're going to kill me. Can y'all help me? You keep talking, we'll ship you to Arizona and nobody will ever find you. I said, all right. Make a choice myself. I went missing for a year. No one came to look for me. You could tell the people who gave a damn because those are the people that are in records that called.
As a previous social worker, I can tell you the easiest way to get kids put into trafficking is they'll just take the kids, they will groom the kids, and then when the kids go missing, CPS says the foster parent's responsibility, if your foster child goes missing, is you pick up the phone, you call 911 and say, I have a foster kid, they ran away, and that absolves you of any responsibility. So anything that happens to the kid from that point on is no longer your responsibility. It absolves CPS of the responsibility, and nobody bothers to look for the kid. They will not allow you to hunt for that kid.
Mm-mm. They took me out of the missing kids network real quick.
So a lot of missing kids are labeled runaways, and nobody ever knows what happens to them. CPS is the big pharma for children.
Nobody holds them accountable at all. They can't.
There's no oversight for CPS except the ombudsman, which is very, very, a very loose and a very, that's not an oversight. And you guys think, I'm a good parent, so CPS will never come to my door. That's not true. If your kid gets on somebody's radar, if your kid gets on a trafficker's radar, they can file a complaint, they can make a phone call, they can send a corrupt CPS and a corrupt police officer to your house, and they'll take your kid, and that's it. It does not matter if you're a good parent or not. It has nothing to do with it. You non-monetized investigators should start digging into CPS and find out what
things for other stuff. So when I got into it, it didn't affect me as bad, but I moved my feet wrong. My feet were, I'm sitting in a wheelchair. So my feet, instead of doing this, I was doing this because I was kicking people. Yeah, you don't do that when you're about to get tied up. It makes the ropes cut into your ankles and you're held upside down for a really long time and people are hurting you. And it was a cater event. And the only people that said something or had the balls to say something were 2 firefighters. They found out how old I was and they said no. And they were like, no, we done. We out. No, we're not doing that. No, we're good. They didn't call anybody. They didn't fight anybody. They didn't stop anything from happening. They just left.
So when you are going to order or cater food for an event, you can also do that with sex. You can cater a sex. Also do that with sex. You can cater a sex with minors to come to your event. And this was a sex catered event for policemen
in Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, California. More specifically, Simi Valley.
And how old were you?
15. I lived in a Mexican foster home in Riverside County, under Riverside County CPS protection. I called them. We told them what was going on. I told them what happened. They didn't want to hear it. Not another report. Now, we keep getting pulled over.
Imagine that.
I wonder how that works. And then there's some people who are like, so what do we do next? I don't know, because we're trying to figure out what we're doing next. With a smile on our face, because in a minute I probably won't be smiling, because I honestly feel like I'm a puke on this camera. You want to see me puke? I mean, if you if you feel like you need to see that too, you want to see me throw up, because that's how I honestly feel right now, and that's more than likely what I'm headed to do after this video. Because we have to do something. And we're minding our business. We're trying to stay alive. We're trying to get some things done. We're trying to get some things in place. And once again, I have a feeling that license and registration, where you headed? It's about to happen. Ask me how I know. Again. You know, sometimes because of the way that I started getting smart about the jobs. I wasn't really understanding the way things were going at first, and then I started getting smart about things. And then your girl started faking orgasms. And then sometimes that works to back people off. Sometimes that does not work to back people off. Then I can sarcastically smile at you like this. And you can see the fuck you in my smile. And that would cause me to get hit to the point where maybe I would be knocked out, and then I wouldn't have to worry about what was going on until it was over. I had tactics. What can you do? And then the only other thing you could do is pee on people. Ain't that some shit? Boom, boom.
That don't always work, because most of those fools are like
that shit. They nasty asses. And then the only other thing that you could hope for is that somebody kills you. Because then you're free. Yeah. I still remember that shit. Clearly. Having problems with that right now. So. I thank you for doing the research. I don't know what else to say or show you guys. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to with this next part 2 coming out. I'm going to try to, with the live event, pray that I can get everything out as much as we can before we run out of time, because we are almost out of time and I am exhausted. And layers of exhausted. And on top of that, I wanted to tell you, see, my former name used to be Jezebel, but my mama named me Leilani. You know us all as Allison. Maybe Allie. That would be me. And then the one who made the bonnet video comes across a little bit different than I do. See, those sex festivals and all of those bondage jobs, that what I just explained would just hope for, I would just do, or just try to make somebody tick for, those cause splits. So what a child may be going through right now, being tortured and raped, that causes splits. Your brain has to do something with that pain. You know how people say, well, I feel trapped in my own body, or that's not me, I'm not that person. That has a little flavor to that. I had a pimp who sold me to Russia one time. He promised me that it's weird in I mean, everything is backwards, but in trafficking, in being a prostitute, there's rankings to things. So a trafficker, a pimp, and a John are 3 different things. When you are one of the girls or one of the guys, you have a kind of a ranking, and being bottom bitch means being top. So when At one point, you had to work for that ranking, though. If there's multiple girls or multiple boys in a pimp's possession, you have to work for that ranking. You have to work for that, basically, respect from your pimp to be able to have your pick of jobs. And it's not like you get to pick if you don't want to be hurt. It's just kind of choosing a lesser evil type of situation. So if you find that ranking, or if you have that ranking with your pimp, then you can kind of pick what jobs you want. So if there's sex machines, then you can pick kind of the least painful sex machine to have to be on for hours. So with my pimp, I started learning that if I was nice to him, if I didn't fight as hard, if I gave up with the fighting, and if I just did what he said, then I would become bottom, which means top. He proposed to me when we were 15 years old. And his promise, with me being his wife, I was running around in very expensive diamond rings. My mom smashed so many of them. My mom now, when she found them, she smashed some in the street, and she didn't understand. I wasn't telling her everything. I was just saying, I have a 27-year-old boyfriend. I have my man, my husband is a grown man, and I was 15. So when he proposed to me, the promise was that if I said yes, and if I did what he said, then I would stay with him. And he, there was other girls that I saw with him. There were other girls that I shared him with. That sounds so ass backwards, but when you say it like that, but that was backwards to say, but it is what it is. We had this deal, and this deal was that he wouldn't, the other girls and the other boys that he had, he wouldn't just leave me. He wouldn't sell me out of country and leave me there. He made that promise, and of course, there's no promises that he kept. They were all empty and broken and lies. So when I had to go to this auction, and this man from Russia purchased me, I thought, okay, we'll just come right back. And the first time he said, you'll leave with him. He wants to have what's called a girlfriend experience, where they're able to take you home and they're able to keep you for the weekend, and have you wake up next to them, is the girlfriend experience. And when I went with this man for a weekend, it was culture shock. It was, the smells were different, the buildings were different, everybody talked different. I didn't understand anybody. I was the only black girl, so when it comes to Americans and when it comes to being black, it definitely was the kicker, because they don't have any respect for you, and especially being a prostitute, they didn't have any respect at all. So some men like to have sex with you with their feet, put you on leashes, make you lick the floor or lick their feet, piss on you, shit on you, things like that. When I figured that out, I was like, I was praying, please God, let me get back to California. And I promise I will be a freaking angel for this man, because I don't want to end up staying here. When we came back, my pimp told me I was going back out there before a week. The money that was exchanged is when I knew it was time to make a decision, because I knew I wasn't coming back. And I knew that he promised that he would bring me back, but there was money counters that came out. There was a huge meeting that he had to have. There was paperwork. And that's when I realized I have to do something because they're going to kill me. And in the worst way. And he told me, you're just going to leave for a week. And I'm like, there's no way. So I got out of school. I was told to go to the park in Fontana and sit on the swings. I had bright red hair, and this is what saved my life because I was about to get branded. I was about to change my complete look to go to Russia because that's what my pimp was telling me to do. So I braided my hair and I changed it. It was blood fire engine red, and it was so bright that it was so noticeable anywhere I went, and I had brushed it out so it's frizzy and crazy. And I went and sat on the swings, and I called my mom and my grandma at the time, and I told her, I love you, I don't know if I'll talk to you again, but I'm about to leave. And she's like, where? And when my grandma heard that in my voice, she rushed to the park. She saw me sitting on the swings. She's like, get home now. She called my mom. My mom called the foster home. She called the police. She called the social worker. And thank God they did, because it stopped the Russia order. It stopped my pickup. I was sitting on the swings getting ready to leave to go to Russia. And it stopped everything. That night, after telling my mom the complete truth and knowing that I wasn't about to come back, I made a choice to run and to disappear, because there was no way. CPS wasn't listening. My social workers knew and was in on it. They would tell me to stop telling people. People were making fake court orders for my mom. That was the time where I was like, it's either life or death right here. And in the next time that I have to try to make this decision, I'm probably going to be somewhere where I can't get out. So I ran. I disappeared from Child Protective Services government custody for a year straight. By less than a few weeks, because of my last name and because of the elite ties that I have, they took me out of the missing child's network system, and removed me from any Amber Alerts or any type of system to tell anybody that I was missing. But CPS still collected money for me. There were fake FBI that were sent out to torment my mom, to mess with people that I knew of that my pimp seen me with, because he made it. There were fake FBI that came out to torment my mom because my pimp made it in a way that he knew who I was hanging around. He knew what I was doing at school. He knew all those things. But I had to be safe, and I can't say exactly how I disappeared. It would incriminate a few really, really, really good people, because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I'm still sitting here right now. If I didn't leave that park that day, I'd probably still be stuck in somebody's tunnel or dead. So that was Russia.